Today we've got really important things to talk about. There's really big news out about the Regal Princess just released earlier today. Some things that go along with that I think is really important for cruisers and travelers to talk about. And then next up, we're going to talk about the rules that make it so that the airlines have to refund your tickets and a little bit about how that works so that you're aware of what's going on. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Wednesday. It is October 30th of 2024. I can't believe we're at the end of October already. Yesterday we got our first snow of the season. It's not unusual for us to get snow in October. And then this morning I had a really early appointment and it was snowing again as I was leaving my house. So winter is almost here, everyone, so I hope we're all ready for it. Now, the Regal Princess, really big news. So if you watched my video yesterday, you saw that her sailing that was supposed to have departed on Monday, October 27th, was canceled. The Princess just announced a little while ago today that they have had to cancel a second sailing. So the November 3rd sailing of the Regal Princess has now been canceled as well. I have it on very good authority that the mechanical problems with the ship were significant enough that they cannot get it fixed in the 1 week that they had planned. So it's going to take 2 weeks. But by the time November 10th rolls around for the next sailing, they definitely are going to be ready to go. And so I am really, I feel really bad for everyone who thought they were going to go on their vacation that week. I also understand completely that you can't control when something happens. If we could control when something broke down, we would never, our car would never break down, right? But sometimes just unforeseen things happen, and it seems like that's what's going on with the Regal Princess. I really appreciate the updates that several of you sent to me yesterday after I did my video talking about it. So apparently, clearly the cruise before the transatlantic was a British Isles cruise. During that cruise, they had a fire in the engine room. And so, of course, they recovered from that the best they could, and they ran the transatlantic. For the transatlantic coming across, several people have told me that they had 3 generators going rather than 4. Several people talked about the power outage, and to have a ship-wide power outage like that is huge. That's a really big deal. And so clearly a lot more was going on with the Regal Princess than anyone probably initially realized. So when they got her here, they immediately started those repairs, but they were not able to have them done by the time they would have hoped to be ready to sail on November 3rd. I am going to say I think it's good that Princess made that choice. It's much better to have to cancel another cruise than have either the guests all arrive at the port and realize your ship can't go, or to get out on a cruise actually with guests on board and then not be able to take them where you thought you were going to get to go and have more problems. So I'm glad that they are on the side of caution. And let me know if you happen to be on the cruise that was just canceled on the 27th or this one coming up on November 3rd. And my heart does go out to you because I get so excited when I get to go on a cruise. So to have one canceled, especially, on short notice, not months and months out, is really hard, and I understand that. So my heart is with you on that if you're affected by that. Because of what is happening here, though, there are a few things that stand out we need to talk about. I'm going to always mention travel insurance. Travel insurance is so very important. The guests who were booked on the Regal Princess, of course, they get all of their money refunded to them, everything that they have spent for the cruise, everything from, their excursions, of course, to any packages, to their cruise fare, port fees and taxes, everything is refunded. And they're going to get that future cruise credit, the 25% of the actual cruise fare portion. And so that is great. But you have to know there have got to be guests who had airplane flights booked in order to fly down to be able to get on that ship. There are hotel stays, all these things, maybe a rental car to get where you needed to go for that. And so I think it's really important that we talk about travel insurance because it covers things like that. But even more importantly than that, booking refundable airplane tickets, booking refundable hotel stays, because sometimes insurance doesn't cover non-refundable hotel stays because you know what, they were non-refundable. And same with flights. Sometimes they can be a little bit tricky about the reason that you weren't on that flight. And so book those refundable airplane tickets and refundable hotel stays. I know they cost a little bit more, but in the long run, unless you don't mind losing your money, it's just a little bit of a safety net. And you know what else I'm going to say? You might want to think about Princess Easy Air, because guests that had their flights booked with Princess on this just got the money refunded. It wasn't a problem. They didn't even have to file a claim for it. They just got their flights refunded. And that's one of the really big pluses of using Princess Easy Air, same as with other cruise lines. If you use their air, it's kind of all together, so if something comes up, they have to cancel the voyage, you get that money back. And if you've been around with me for a while, I'm a little bit of a critic of Princess Easy Air sometime. I have not heard of big glitches lately, although, as with anything in life, some things can come up. But think about that. Really, I think it's important to think about that. I've not used Princess Easy Air for a while, but it's enough that I think maybe we'll start using Princess Easy Air again. So put that on your list of things to consider as you're doing it. And then along with this, I just want to say, nobody can foresee when unexpected things happen, because if they could, they wouldn't be unforeseen. We'd know what was going to happen. If we would have known the cruise was going to be canceled, we'd never have booked it, right? And so I just want to point out, and if you listen to me, I talk about business things and looking at things from all angles. So I get the side that it's inconvenient. It is inconvenient to have your cruise canceled. On the other side, it's a really big deal for cruise lines to cancel a sailing of a ship. They know that it's going to be in the news. It's not going to be a favorable news story. And they also know that it cost them an awful lot of money. They were going to sail a voyage and earn money on that. They're a cruise line. That's what they do for business. And so they don't make these decisions lightly. And along with that, there's unfortunate things that happen in life, and we all can't be paid back for them. There's a lot of things that happen that how can you ever put a dollar figure on it? And some things just happen. So let me know in the comments what you think about all that, would ya? If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, will you please go ahead and hit that subscribe button? If you hit the one next to it, click on that with the bell, you will get a notification every time we go live or put out a video, so that you don't miss out on any information or any of the fun. And if you appreciate my updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? I really appreciate your support, so thank you very much. So we're going to also talk about flights. So clear back earlier this summer, it was on June 25th of 2024, the U.S. Department of Transportation put into effect some new rules regarding what airlines were required to do when they changed the flight schedule for flights. And that happened clear back June 25th, 2024. I talked about it at the time in a video, but I am seeing it coming up in the news an awful lot more again. So I just want to make sure that you understand a little bit about how it works. So you book your flight with an airlines, right? And it's not even time for the flight yet, but they change your flight, and they change it significantly. It's not the kind of notice you get that they have tweaked the flight, departure time or arrival time by 5 minutes. Sometimes they change things by hours. They can maybe make your flight so different that it no longer works with what you're going to do. So the rules that they have is if they change a flight more than 3 hours for domestic flights or more than 6 hours for international flights, you have two options. They are required to give you two options. You can either have your money back, and if you want your money back, you can get it back within 7 days. They're required to give it to you within 7 days on your credit card, or 20 days if you paid for it with your debit card. I don't think anybody writes a check anymore and mails it in, do they? But if it's funds that way, they have 20 days to get it back to you. Or they have to offer you another flight. And this has happened with Gordon and I before. We've had flights that have been changed significantly. When that happens, we get a notification from the airline and they say, we have moved you over to this flight. And if you don't like this flight, they always have a place you can click, and then you can choose another flight, or we can ask for our money back, okay, if there's no longer anything that works for us. And so I wanted to make you aware of that so that when these kind of things happen to you, you know what the rules are, and you are aware that if you have a flight that changed significantly and they put you on another flight that you don't like, you have recourse. You can either get yourself on another flight or you can just ask for your money back. That's really important. And don't forget, 3-hour change for domestic, 6-hour change for international. This one, I wanted to add one other thing as I've thought about this an awful lot. And two things, actually. One of the things I want to talk about is paying for things with a debit card. When you pay for things with a debit card, to me, it is more risky. So tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think it's more risky to pay for things with a debit card rather than with a credit card? The reason that I like a credit card is if there are ever any charges that I want to, contest, that I don't want to, that I want to call the credit card company and say I shouldn't have been charged that, or I was charged too much, then they will put a hold on it and gather all the facts, and you can actually have some recourse there. With your debit card, not so much. And if you are waiting for money to come back to you on a debit card, it can take a whole lot more time. Like I said, this is 20 days, which is almost 3 weeks, rather than 7 days, which is 1 week. The other thing to keep in mind is when you use your debit card and put that on your cruise account on any ship, whether it's Princess, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, whoever it is that you're sailing on, sometimes they will put, not sometimes, they'll always put a hold. They put a hold on a credit card, but it's not significant. Like, that doesn't impact what you're doing when you're on board the ship. But if you have any limited funds in your checking account and they put a hold on it, that might be a little bit inconvenient if it messes with that. And so just putting that out there. There are a lot of ramifications. And I say this as someone that only uses a credit card. We have a debit card. I use it to get cash out of an ATM when I want cash. But otherwise, we keep our credit card paid. I don't leave it and let it roll for months and not pay. We are very careful to pay it off every month in full. And so we don't incur any interest charges, no finance fees, nothing like that. So I just wanted to put that out there and let you know that there's a way to do that if you want to watch your budget and not get in over your head. All right. So put in the comments how you manage, if you use a credit card, if you use a debit card, all of the things that you're thinking about when you use both, because it educates all of us. I appreciate all of you being here today, and I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.